These are your evening headlines for December 8th, 2025, right here on BYU-Idaho Radio. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Jill Clary. With live music, festivities, and a mission-driven message, Heroes Diving for the Sea Foundation, a local nonprofit serving veterans and first responders through outdoor experiences, is inviting the community to ring in the new year with a celebration that aims to make a real impact. The foundation was organized 2 years ago by Ken Condon, a veteran and father of 2 Army veterans and 2 first responders. After learning how scuba diving and other outdoor activities can help alleviate symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, which is common among those who have served, Condon set out to create opportunities for healing.
Whether or not it's mountain biking or hiking or scuba diving, we set up events that have the adaptive element is things that make it easier for people with disabilities to do.
Condon and his team have been tracking PTSD levels among participants and say the activities are making a measurable difference.
The goal is to stop the suicides, plain and simple. We've lost too many.
According to the RAND Corporation, the veteran suicide rate is approximately 34.7 per 100,000 people, compared to 17.1 per 100,000 among non-veterans. Heroes Diving for the Sea hopes their work will help shift those numbers.
But we've got 3 that have said, absolutely, if it wasn't for you guys, that would have been it for us.
The foundation's New Year's celebration will feature performances by local bands, the Shack Owls and the Aaron Ball Band, along with dinner and a silent auction.
It's not just about playing songs, it's about people. People are always the most important thing in the world. So.
Proceeds from the silent auction will support the David Price Memorial Scholarship Endowment Fund, which provides scuba equipment for a veteran or first responder participating in the program.
We want people to feel like they've come and been engaged, and their life's hopefully a little better when they leave than when they showed up. So.
Tickets are $50 and are available now at heroesforthefoundation.org. The event begins at 6:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve at the Idaho Falls Country Club and continues through midnight. The BYU Cougars were left out of the 2025 college football playoff. Here's Austin Pace with his commentary.
Not only did BYU miss the college football playoff entirely, they weren't even part of the conversation. So let's recap the 2025 campaign. BYU finished the regular season 11-1, with the only loss coming to number 5 Texas Tech. When the final rankings came out, the Cougars landed at number 11, the first team out of the playoff. And fans and plenty of college football analysts were stunned, especially since 10-2 Alabama and 10-2 Notre Dame were both placed ahead of BYU. And here's the part people can't get over. Number 10 Notre Dame and Miami, who sat at number 12, didn't even play in conference championship games. Meanwhile, the committee had already said they wouldn't hold a conference championship loss against teams who did play. Alabama got blown out by Georgia. BYU also had their bad loss, but only one of those teams dropped in the rankings, and it wasn't Bama. BYU fell to number 12. Miami jumped into the playoff, and both Notre Dame and BYU were left out. But honestly, the Cougars weren't even in the discussion to begin with. BYU's playoff odds without winning the Big 12 championship were just 8%, even though their resume was stronger than both Notre Dame's and Miami's. The committee says they judge teams on 4 key metrics: strength of schedule, strength of record, best win, and worst loss. So let's compare. BYU ranked 6th nationally in strength of record, 34th in strength of schedule, had a win over number 15 Utah, and the only loss was to number 5 Texas Tech. Notre Dame, 13th in strength of record, 42nd in strength of schedule, a win over number 17 USC, and losses to number 12 Miami and number 16 Texas A&M. Miami, 14th in strength of record, 44th in strength of schedule, a win over number 6 Notre Dame, but also losses to unranked Louisville and unranked SMU. If you looked at those numbers blindly, the clear choice for that final playoff spot is BYU. They played tougher teams, won tougher games, and they actually made it to a conference championship. But somehow they still weren't considered. Their name wasn't even mentioned as a contender, which seemed to rub wide receiver Parker Kingston the wrong way.
It makes you mad, and to have the conference championship as the reason why we can't go or get in, I think is not right. I mean, what's the point of even getting the conference championship if it's going to hurt your odds of getting into playoff or not?
So that lingering question remains, and maybe it always will. Was BYU truly snubbed from the 2025 college football playoff? For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Austin Pace.
The Nutcracker is one of the most popular Christmas shows put on each year around the world. Ballet Etude, a ballet school in Rexburg, is performing the famous ballet this weekend. Kristen Lewis is the artistic director at Ballet Etude. She helps put shows together, choreograph performances, teach techniques, technique classes and organize dance rehearsals each week. She also teaches ballet as a professor at BYU-Idaho. She says the dancers have put in a lot of time and effort into preparing for the show.
Our audition process was in September, and then we have rehearsed almost every weekend since. We take a few weekends off, for holidays and things like that. But other than that, we're in the studio every Friday and Saturday rehearsing for a number of hours. Yeah, our dancers pack lunches and bring their homework and rehearse and then take little breaks, sometimes take naps and then rehearse some more.
This is the first time Ballet Etude is doing the full-length Nutcracker. They performed a part of it last year, and Lewis says audiences seem to enjoy it.
I think this will be right along the same lines as what we've put on before. A high level of professionalism and a performance quality that just brings magic to the stage. It'll be a magical show, and they will feel just the joyful feeling of watching dancers dance and share what they love up on the stage.
Ballet Etude attempts to make its shows enjoyable for all ages.
This is a goal that we all have. We really strive to make our productions audience-friendly for all ages and all appreciation levels of ballet. As I mentioned before, we really try to keep the story pretty clear to understand so that they don't feel like an outsider, but they feel invited and involved.
All are invited to see the show, whether they're fans of ballet or not.
Because it will be a magical experience where you will see dancers up there who love what they're doing, and you'll feel that, and their joy will just seep into your heart.
The Nutcracker is this Friday and Saturday at the Romance Theater and will begin at 6 p.m. both days. For more information and to buy tickets, go to balletetude.com and click on performances. These have been your BYU-Idaho Radio evening headlines for December 8th, 2025. Thanks for tuning in. More news, interviews, and great content are available on our podcast feed. Search for BYU-Idaho Radio on your favorite podcast apps. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and more. For BYU-Idaho Radio, I'm Jill Clary.